Last time on John Chrymes.
I've never seen the photo of Gannon laying in the bed that morning. And I know one day it's going to appear on the internet crystal clear. And I hope I never see it. Because if I see that photo, and I know it's too late, I'm going to look at Gannon and I'm going to scream. Scream for him to get out of that bed and run as far away as possible. Run to your neighbor's house across the street, Gannon. I know I promised I wouldn't look. I specifically said one day Gannon's colored photo is going to be online, and I couldn't help it. If you want updates to the Gannon Stocks case, you can find me along with many others on WTAF's YouTube channel. The link will be in the description. They were one of the first people I saw with this update, and someone sent it to my inbox, and I couldn't turn away. However, we're going to discuss the updates on the Laurie Daybell case, and when it comes to me, when it comes to John Chrymes, she's Laurie Daybell. She will always be Laurie Daybell. The things, the massacre, the senseless actions that have occurred for her to get this name she so desperately wanted, she's going to get. And from hearing from some of the Vallows in real life, I know they don't want their name attached to her anyway. So yeah, you'll see Laurie Vallow attached to titles and pull people in so you can watch his horrific tale. But make no mistake about it, she's Laurie Daybell. You remember, well, some of you don't because it's not posted, but on my very first case on Amina and Sarah, first thing I did was make it a point to show these extreme beliefs aren't aligned with the Islamic belief, and that is of honor killings. You don't want something going out to a mass amount of people unless you know for it to be factually true. And if you were to talk to an abundance of Muslims, they're going to tell you that nowhere in the Quran do they talk or speak of honor killings. So I just want to make sure that I say that in the LDS theology, in Mormonism, nothing that Chad Daybell and his occult extreme beliefs ties anything to this. That's important to me. That you know that you're not dealing with just straight on Mormonism. We owe that much to their faith and their own belief. That being said, when I think about the Dateline special, I only want to talk about three people. Kobe Ryan, which is Laurie Daybell's son, and his opinion on everything that has taken place. Melanie Palawowski. Yes, we're going to call her Palawowski because just like Laurie Daybell fought so hard for the name Daybell, she fought so hard for this name. And I'm quite sure when Brad sees this, he's not going to want her to have his last name as well. But of course, the media calls her Melanie Boudreaux. And the third person that we're going to talk about is a new person by the name of Angela, who's an ex-cult member. As a matter of fact, let's start with Angela first. She has some interesting things that she said. Leaving the cult of Chad Daybell's teaching, Angela stated that Chad Daybell felt that he can predict the future on one hand. But on the other hand, let's look at his wife. He tells people that he feels something bad is going to happen to his wife. He's worried. But then he says his wife already passed away. She already died. And she has been taken over by zombies. And miraculously, a mere less than 2 weeks later, his wife dies of unforeseen circumstances. And the leader, who allegedly can predict futures or sees zombies, cries uncontrollably to the police as they come into his home and pronounces his wife dead. Here's something interesting. If Chad Daybell can see the future, why didn't anyone in this cult deem Angela, the ex-member, as a demon being controlled by zombies until after she wanted to leave? Look at the convenience involved. She's there the entire time, and she has these feelings that I don't like what's going on. I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like him telling me that some new woman by the name of Laurie Vallow is coming in and she can teleport. Segue. Arizona, Hawaii, Arizona, Idaho. Seems she did try to teleport. Crazy. But back to Chad Daybell. Isn't it convenient that they deemed her with these negative zombie demon traits only after she left his cult and he could not predict that? About as convenient as something else I left out of my documentary, which was we knew that she bought the engagement rings and wedding rings. Laurie Daybell did before Chad Daybell's wife passed away. But she did it on a Charles Vallow's account. Ice cold. Angela said she was groomed. More of obedience, this extreme Mormonism. She had evil spirits. Chad Daybell was so good, he can predict these evil spirits using math, using a numeric system that he made. He also took this numeric system directly to Laurie Vallow's entire family. Let's take a look. I know you guys are seeing it on the screen and I'm about to read it to you, but I had to pause it looking at her name, Laurie Forstyle. Well, Mr. Chad Daybell sent Laurie an email on October the 30th of 2018. And remember from my last video, this is around the time she met him for the podcast. On this email he sent her, he said, "Here are the family history documents you requested." Now we move to this page and he tries to break it down for her a little bit more clearly. You see family history information, current numbers on Earth at this time of each estate level. These totals represent the light spirits. The dark has equal numbers. So he looks at the dark and the light according to numbers, and he puts a little D if they're dark and he puts a little L if they're light. Most LDL members are level 2. Most bishops and ward leaders are level 3. I feel like I'm about to play a game of Dungeons and Dragons for some odd reason, but I'll try to take him as seriously as his followers do. Here's the interesting part. It says, the dark side can only match the light numbers, not exceed them. That's why there are few 5s on Earth right now. It limits the dark's power. 2s and 3s are fluid and can change sides during Earth's life. 4.1 and above have made covenants to their side. They rarely switch. And I want to repeat this before we take a look at how this new guy has broken down this woman's entire life and family. He said that 4.1 and above have made covenants to their side. They rarely switch. Now let's look at what Mr. Chad Daybell had to say about Laurie Vallow's family. 4.1 and above rarely switch. He put Laurie, the woman that he said can teleport, as a 4.3, so she's not going to switch. She's a 4.3 light. Leaving her 4th marriage with 2 of her 4 husbands deceased at the time before he marries her, she's a 4.3 light. He even goes so far as to look at her first husband, which he puts as a 2 light. Her second husband, which is Kobe's father, a 2 dark. He puts Kobe, her son, who I'm quite sure he sees that she cares a lot about, Kobe Ryan, a 3 light. Let's look at her daughter, her one and only biological daughter of Tylee Ryan. Tylee Ryan is a 4.1 dark. She is the daughter of Joseph Ryan, who's a 4.3 dark. He said that 4.1s rarely change size, yet Tylee is a 4.1 dark, and her father is a 4.3. Tylee is missing till this day. Interesting enough, he has Charles Vallow as a 3 light. Interesting enough, he goes on to look at Charles Vallow's history. His first wife being a 2 dark, Cole Vallow being a 3 dark, Zach Vallow being a 3 light, Joshua Vallow being a 4.2 light. I just keep thinking about different situations, such as when Laurie Vallow, at the time, when she was married to Charles Vallow around February of 2019, when she wanted to leave and run away, she took her daughter. A 4.3 light ran away from her husband, which was a 3 light, and she ran to Hawaii with a 4.1 dark. She is the mother of a 4.2 light that she left back with Charles. She left the 2 lights. She traveled back to Hawaii only with her daughter, which is a 4.2 dark. And it's just interesting. If the teachings of if the teachings of Chad were true, why is JJ missing? And why would a mother kill her only daughter? Next up, we have, this is what I got from her segment on Dateline. Nada, zilch, nothing, a waste of time. I sat on the couch with my beautiful girlfriend and we watched Melanie Palowski talk, and we counted the seconds she was on the screen. 5 at the most. And one time we managed to make it to 6 seconds. Her segment was so spliced and full of hot air. I got nothing. But you can see her a lot. But she's not really on the screen. So there's really nothing to take away from this, except for the FBI blotched a big lead up to this point. We'll see what comes out in the trial. But as of this day, as I shoot this on Cinco de Mayo, they blotched this. One interesting thing I did take away is when he asked her, you know, your ex-husband says that he feels that your uncle shot at him, which is Laurie Vallow's brother, Alex. And she said, at first, I was worried, but then he talked to me and he said, why would I do it in broad daylight like this? Anybody that wants to be on this side, they can listen to her. They can think, wow, yeah, that would be risky. Is it risky? We were talking about the same Alex pulled the stun gun on Laurie Vallow's third husband. Deceased, by the way. We're talking about the same Alex. Months prior, nonchalantly killed her fourth husband, walked outside, sat down on the pavement, chilled, went to a pool party that night in the same house he committed a murder at. Is it risky? If this same uncle, after allegedly trying to kill someone, which is Joseph Ryan, allegedly trying to kill her ex-husband, is it far-fetched if he, in fact, killed his niece and nephew? That's 3 in 1 year. Some alleged assaults, especially if he had something to do with Tammy Daybell's disappearance. or the attack on her life, being shot at a couple days before. It's so wild that it's not far-fetched to say that he'd do it in daylight. But why wouldn't he do it in daylight? Here's one thing about the great mysterious leader who can predict the future, Mr. Chad Daybell himself, is Melanie said that when she arrived to Idaho, she never once saw the children. Now I want you guys to think about this. This guy who knows the future, this guy who can spot demons a mile away. Laurie Daybell said to her deceased husband when they were married, Charles Vallow, "If you get in my way, I will murder you. I will kill you." Isn't Melanie getting in their way of their plan to announce and tell the police that since she's been here, she hasn't seen a trace of JJ and Tyler? So, what does this do in the mind of Mr. Chad Daybell and Laurie Daybell? Wouldn't this make Melanie now an enemy? This directly hurts their case. If anyone should have been the first to lie, it should have been Melanie, who has always been on their side. And if you think that lying isn't a big deal, where's Alex? I'll tell you a fault that we do, me included. We build these stories in our head, and once we build these stories, it's like these are characters in a movie. If we don't like somebody, everything they do is bad. We have to stop doing that. We have to look at, you can be a horrible person, but you can do something that I can agree with. We're all different on different levels. I'll give you an example. We can't say that we like Kobe Bryant and he's credible and he's a great kid, total opposite of how his wicked mother is. And he's so believable and we believe every word that comes out of his mouth. But in our head, we've built that his mother is a black widow and killing all of her husbands, right? But if Kobe is so credible and believable and he tells you that his stepfather molested him, you don't want to believe that. Nothing against Kobe. You don't want to believe it because you built this character in your head of how his mother's this widow killer, and so every husband she had was so perfect. Maybe Joseph Ryan wasn't so perfect. If so, if he molested a little child, I don't mind the evil Alex beating the crap out of him. That's just me, and I'm saying if that's true, but you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't say the guy's all perfect and everything about everything he's saying, but just totally dismiss that Kobe Ryan is lying when he's saying that he was molested by a stepfather. I just want to throw that 2 cents in for clarity and always sticking to your guns of an idea of a set of principles and morals. I have a set of principles and morals that I don't side with anybody that molests children. But something interesting that Kobe Ryan said, and it was his love for Charles Vallow. Typically, the first person to object to a stepfather is a little boy. And it seemed to me that he had much respect and admiration and love for Mr. Charles Vallow. One of the things that triggered him, that he stopped believing in his mother's lies and the things that she was telling him, is when she started saying outlandish things about Charles Vallow. That's all I got from Kobe Ryan. A good kid that loves his mom and loves his family, but he knows something is up. And I think away from the cameras, if he was alone, he knows that his little brother and sister are no longer on earth. Laurie Vallow Daybell, no disrespect to the billions of other last names she have previously held, is a woman so vain that she damn near had a wall-to-wall vanity mirror in her living room. I made a video called Reset. I said her clear motivation is to reset in life. Her friend in Hawaii said that Laurie was thinking about leaving Charles Vallow because he wasn't a leader. Is that true? Is it the fact that he wasn't a spiritual leader? Charles Vallow, from everyone accord, until her recent sudden changes, worshiped the ground she walked on, did what she said. Want to go to Hawaii? Let's go to Hawaii. Want to come back to Arizona? Let's go back to Arizona. Was it bland? Was it boring? Was there a lack of a challenge in Charles Vallow? Was it really just a spiritual leader, just a leader? Because when you look at Chad Daybell, he was literally a leader. He gained respect amongst a lot of people. This looks enticing if you can gain Chad Daybell's respect because you aren't just one of the flock. You rise above. This is an awesome reset. Correct? JJ was a 4.2 light. Why, when she separated from Charles Vallow and spontaneously moved back to Hawaii, did she not take JJ, the light? Why did she take Tylee, the dark, according to Chad Daybell? What is the difference between Tylee and JJ? JJ is of DNA and blood of Charles Vallow. JJ is a reminder. He is a part of the life she reset to when she reset from Joseph Ryan to Charles Vallow. What did she come to Charles Vallow with? She came to Charles Vallow with Tylee. So she would take Tylee away, which is of her own blood, when it's time to reset again, and she's thinking heavily about resetting again. This is all about resetting. Her actions of being so extreme, of literally trying to show the world she can teleport by just showing up in Hawaii unannounced after he said it. She's trying to prove to Chad Daybell that she's worthy to be his new wife, to complete this reset. When she got to Hawaii, she told her friend, "You are one of the 144,000 that I'm going to save." But she left Hawaii, and she didn't bring her with her. If Chad Daybell's prophecy is true, if Laurie's of this prestige, this person that can teleport, this leader that's supposed to help him get 144,000, why was she unsuccessful at simply trying to get one person, which was her friend? Everything I've seen still leads me to believe that Laurie Daybell is all about trying to reset. But I'll end this on a more sad note. Kobe Ryan said that when his mother decided to move to Idaho, she came to him. And he was happy at first because it made logical sense. You want to move. You guys are staying in a place where something horrific happened. Charles was murdered by your now deceased brother. Then she said, "We're moving somewhere cold." I can't tell you anything else. Don't ask anymore, Kobe. I don't like what happens to people when they step in your mother's way. He didn't step in the way. He only asked her for one final favor. He said, "Give the children, JJ and Tylee, a base, a foundation, somewhere where they can settle." I'm sorry to inform you, Kobe, that I think your mother took your advice literally. That's all we have on this edition of Crimes with Crimes, you guys. I'll see you all next time.